Hopefully you're having a good day. You got old Coach Blurk when you get home, so that'll be cool.
So I figured we'd start the show with hi Pam, with this funny little piece of news. I don't know if you guys remember it from last week. We said we were going back to doing every Friday with our friends over on Tom and Amy's Paranormal Mystery. Well, on Friday we pranked them and we told them I had to work so I could go to yours truly's house and we could do the show live together. And if you haven't had a chance to watch it, you should. Me and this man are hilarious together.
We had so much fun. It was I loved having you over here. We had a really good time, man. Played a little Nintendo while you were over here. That was fun. A little bit of Batman. Yes. So yeah, that's fun. That's over on Mike's channel. Go check it out after the show if you'd like to.
I should put a link in the thing, but I didn't. But Hefty Tagger is in my description below. So click his thing, bring you there. Anyways,
click my thing.
Flick his thing. He likes the flicky thing.
I like the flicky thing.
So today we're talking about stories. So when this idea came into my head, you and I were talking about it yesterday, and it just popped in my head. Like, everybody's got a story. Like, we do our own every day, and those are great. But what I was really thinking about when this idea popped in my head is, those stories you've heard from like your great grandfather or your grandfather, or one that your dad heard from his dad, so forth and so on. Those stories slowly become legends because we remember them, and then we tell our friends about it, or we tell our kids, or one of our brothers' kids or sisters' kids. Like, you keep it going. So every family has their own like set of legends coming down from the top all the way through. Like, everybody's heard at least one story. Somebody in a war, somebody going through the Great Depression. Like, we all have known someone who's shared these stories. Sometimes I don't think we spend enough time spending time with the older generation and listening to those stories. Because even if we think they're like not important, there may be a life lesson in that story you're not grabbing at that moment. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That was very well put. Yeah, I remember I came to that conclusion a long time ago when I was, I wasn't homeless yet. I was staying at my girlfriend's house at the time. And this is back in the probably late 90s, like probably 97, somewhere around there. And it was in Connecticut. And I worked at a supermarket, and I was waiting. I had nothing to do, so I dropped some acid, and I was for my girlfriend to get out that day. So I was basically going to be there a whole shift, and I was just pretty much sitting outside the store smoking cigarettes, waiting for her. So, and I got to thinking, it's like, because I had a story up until that point. Like, my life had been a story. I've been all around, had moved, gone through, not my divorce, but my parents' divorce, had moved across the country from my brother's, gotten into some shit down there and, in Louisiana, and then had moved to Connecticut and got the shit there. I had a story by this point.
Understandable.
And I thought, I was like, if I ever see just some person like just sitting there, like alone, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's got a story. Like, just talk to them about their story. Ask them their story. Everybody's got one. And old people, especially, old people should be listened to. I think that's definitely one of those things where a lot of the stories that old people tell, not only is it great for them because they get to kind of relive it, I feel, because that's how it is with me. Ask Tui. I'll tell stories 2 days in a row. You know what I mean? I'll tell the same story a million times. But you get something, you relive it. When you tell it, and then it's just kind of fun to hear other people's stories as well. So I always say, if somebody's got a story, ask them what their story is. If they don't want to tell you, they're not going to tell you. But
which makes sense.
Everybody's got a story. That was my long-winded.
No,
on that, but yeah, I came to that same conclusion. I was like, yeah, everybody's got a story, man.
Well, and it's weird for me because as you and I are, you're older than I am. I don't really have a lot of friends that are my age. Most of the people I would call friends or family are either old enough to be my brother, my dad, or my grandfather.
Yeah, I'm the same way, or much younger. What's up, Jesus? What's up, brother? Thank you for watching. Case in point, Jesus, he's one of my great friends, and he's he's in his like early 30s, mid 30s, you know what I mean? And then you got my friends like Brody and who's like 23, I think, or something like that. And you have friends like my buddy Bob, who is in like his late 60s, early 70s, who is like, he's a great guy too. But yeah, friends my own age, I really don't have. They're either like younger or older. Yeah. So some are around the same, but like I don't know if they're really friends.
No, I understand that. They're like on that line where they are more like an acquaintance than they are like an actual friend. Like them, you say hi to them, you're very pleasant, but you're not like, hey, come over and have a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I get that, which makes sense. I'm kind of the same way. Yeah. But I don't really go out much or invite anyone over.
Same, yeah.
In my friend group. What's up, Chantel?
Hi, Chantel. Yay. What's going on? How you feeling, Chantel? You doing good?
I bet she's got some stories, being that she lives in South Africa. I bet she got some shit.
I mean, I can probably think of two right off a hand. that
I can think of one right now.
Yeah, everybody's got a story.
And it's weird how sometimes you meet someone and your stories almost like mirror one another, but in slightly different things. But they're almost like, you were walking the same road I went on, but then you went left when I went right.
Yeah, they like parallel, yeah.
And that's weird to me because how they always say that not everyone's alike, but I want to say at least there has to be two people who almost share the exact same life experience on one side of the world compared to the other. It may be the exact same thing or whatnot, but there's got to be at least two of us that does that, because what would be the point in it if we don't all experience the same thing?
Yeah, I agree. And I think maybe not every time the same thing. Sure, there's going to be probably where the same thing, but a lot of common themes, I think, in a lot of people's stories are what people Dooby-doo. What's up, Thaddeus?
That's TJ from work.
What's up, TJ?
He's on at work.
Thanks for watching, buddy.
Yeah, TJ.
We didn't hear what she said.
She's like, you better be making sales.
TJ. He's a good dude. Chantel's in bed already. Long day. I'm sorry. I bet it feels good to be in bed. Ooh, we're in bed with Chantel, JD. What do you think about that?
Don't tell Danielle. I'll be in trouble.
Danielle. No, nothing. I'm just teasing.
No way. It pops right in. Huh?
What? But no, I think that's where I was going with that. Like common themes when you hear people's stories, even though the details may be a little bit different. I think it's the common themes that you're like, oh yeah, man, that's kind of like what I went through and shit. It's like, yo, I remember feeling that way. Howdy, we miss you, brother. My man.
Those of you who don't know, Hadi only works with me one day a week now at the gas station. He has moved on to do much more things with his life. So we're very happy for him.
But sad at the same time.
You won't lose your spot in the credits, so you'll always be a part of the show, whether you're on it or not. You family. Poor bastard.
They don't get me in trouble for nothing. Yeah, that's fair.
It's not fair.
What are one of yours, Jables? Because I know you and your grandfather were very tight before he unfortunately passed, and I know you guys had a really awesome relationship. What are one of the stories? What are one of your favorite stories that you think probably sticks out in your mind as being the most, maybe had the most effect on your life, or you still kind of remember thinking about that, really, really stuck with you?
So when him and I would like have those kind of like heart-to-heart moments, where my grandparents lived, they have like they had a garden in their front yard that my grandfather worked on every summer. But when I say like garden, I mean like a garden. He had corn, he had onions, he had potatoes, carrots. He would grow pumpkins in the fall for us kids, so we didn't have to go buy pumpkins.
That's awesome. You can just get them there.
So we would always like walk the perimeter of the yard. And we got talking about his family. And it was a story about how when him and his brothers and sisters, because he was, if I remember correctly, he was 5 of 9 children, if my memory serves me right. And he told me that as they got older, they all kind of went this way, they went that way. The only time they really were seeing each other is if something happened to somebody else in the family, whatnot. They didn't even really communicate much. So we're talking about how him and his brother Harold were used to be very, very close, and now at that point in my life with them, they just weren't talking. Never really asked what happened, but it was just something that didn't happen very often. And he was telling me that the most important thing about that is family, and it's not just who like you're related to by blood; it's about who is around you. And then he was telling me he didn't want me to end up like him. He goes, it sucks not being able to see like my brothers, my sisters, so forth and so on. He goes, I don't want that to happen with you and your brother. So if something does happen to me, you have to promise me, my chair just shrunk, that you and your brother will always be there for one another because you guys won't have anyone else. And he goes, and I really don't want to see either one of you guys going this way or that way without the other ones there for help. So that's like the one that kind of like burnt into my head about it, because it was like he was telling me something before I knew what he was telling me, because it didn't click what he meant until after I moved away and after he died. Like all of it kind of made sense then. I was like, oh, I get what you were telling me now. 1 second, my chair is sinking.
No problem, buddy.
It doesn't work as good as it used to, or I've just gotten that fat. It just sinks on me now.
We're talking about your chair still, right?
Yes.
Okay. Like, I as well am gonna have to go with that one. That's something that my grandmother, who just passed in April, was a big proponent of, was just family first, and that's kind of been what we've been taught our whole lives. The same thing. My grandma had like 12 kids or something like that.
Thanks, Jesus.
And that was that, and it was always that thing. It's like family, And I heard it put once, like really well, and it's like friends are the family you choose, which is really cool.
I do like
yeah, I do too. And I agree with it. I also think that is a very important lesson that maybe hasn't completely gotten lost over the years, but I feel like it was probably recognized more back in the day, or maybe like preached more of the importance of family. Family first. Dom from Fast and the Furious would be proud. so would Grand Am. Ironically, made the joke there. Yeah, holy shit! I hadn't seen my mom and brother for 3 years. Then I saw mom for Easter, and then like 2 weeks later, got to see her again. But it took getting shot to make that happen. Yeah,
that's sad.
That's why I tell everybody that I love them when I see them, or I'm a big hugger. You know what I mean? I'm a big hugger. But I tell, and not everybody. I know that the people that don't say it back, I know they love me. They just don't say it. You know what I mean? They show it in different ways. They don't say it. Sometimes, you know what I mean? But me, I'm like, you never know what's gonna happen, dude. You never know. And like case in point with Chantel, man, I remember getting that news and I was like, holy fucking shit. Like,
yeah, that was crazy when you told us.
Yeah. Oh, right. I forgot we're on at the gas station. I'll try to curb that a little bit. But I was like, wow, that's somebody who, I've become very fond of over the years. And, I don't know, who I don't talk to all the time, or maybe definitely not as much as I should, because she's really awesome. But taking that to get to realize like, hey, maybe I should reach out more, or even just to go back to the funeral. Thank you, Jeeves. We love you too, Chantel. When we were at our grandmother's funeral, we had seen people we hadn't seen since the last funeral, which was 16 years ago. You know what I mean? We have a very big family. We have a very, very big family. And it was really great to see people that you haven't seen in so long. And like, we were being reintroduced to people that were like children the last time we saw them. But they were super cool about it.
Well, that's kind of nice though.
I'm Trisha's daughter, or it was really cool. And it sucks that it takes something like that to get everybody back together again. But family is super important as well.
No, you're good. I will agree to that 100%, because it seems like the worst times bring families together, and it also makes them the worst to be around. If
Yep.
it's something really bad, because not everyone, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but not everyone processes the same way as everybody else. So to someone who's not saying anything and kind of doing their own thing, processing on the inside, and then take me, for example, I do that. So if I'm in that kind of mood, do not approach me. Do not be like, oh my God, be like, because I'm going to snap at you. Like, and that's what makes it rough on those families, because they don't spend enough time with each other to understand when someone needs space, somebody needs this. Like, they don't work together as correctly as they used to.
Sure.
Which is crazy. How do we know this whole thing from stories would turn into family?
Well, I think family is at the crux of a lot of stories. You know, how many times you've been like, I was with, how many times like, me and Danny back in the day, or like, me with the guys. That's why I'm going to the UK, to be able to be near as much. Yeah, and it's gonna be like, I don't know, way safer for you.
Seriously.
I
mean, kind of. I mean, compared to down there, yeah.
Okay. You're gonna be better than South Africa.
Yeah, you're right. Think about
you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, that's definitely gonna be safer.
It's like going from like fucking Morton Ave to where we live.
Oh,
the kind of move, Yeah. There's but I think family has to do with a lot of stories. You know what I mean?
Like, the way that I always look at it, like, and it's a weird thing for me. So, like, in my mind, my birthday is the end of a chapter in my story. So when I turned 37 last year, that was chapter 37. And so everything that happened from that birthday to this birthday is that next chapter in that story. So whatever happens after next Wednesday starts the whole new chapter in that year. Because, like, I used to be one of those people who tried to plan and think way far out the box, like what's going to happen 6 months, 5 years.
You live in the moment, man.
Yeah, I take it every day at a time now, especially it's sad that I'm getting to that age where more of my friends aren't here anymore from other things we've all done in our lives than I can say I actually still talk to most of them, which is the other worst part about it.
What's up, Oju-san? Thank you for watching. Buddy says, howdy, fellas. If my family shows up, I know something is probably wrong. I tend to be the family fixer. It's a double-edged blade.
Yes.
Good on you. That's a tough gig.
Yep.
That's a tough gig that I wouldn't want. But good. I mean, you're a good dude, Oju-san. So I bet you're really good at that. Although that is probably a lot of pressure on you a lot of times.
So I've got a funny story for you that it's been. So this one comes from my grandmother and my grandfather. So when my great-grandfather, my grandmother's dad, was younger, he liked the South Sea. And so one night he comes home from the bar, completely blacked out, runs his Nova into the side of their house, and then proceeds to try to help my grandmother kill chickens so they could, like, make dinner. So the story goes that he was all drunk. He just walks over to this chicken, grabs it by the head, and, if you snap it right, it breaks the neck.
Sure.
Well, this is where I get confused. Where is it a real story? Y'all just trying to pull my leg. So he starts doing this with it, and its neck starts getting longer and longer to the point where he's spinning a chicken by its neck like 2 feet around him. And I'm just like, I don't know if I believe that, but it's a cool ass story. And it seems
if the vertebrae was broken,
they're all just whipping a chicken around above his head. And to me, that's just one of the best family stories out there.
That is a pretty good one. I almost kind of don't care if it was real or not. I think the story, and that's the thing about stories, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Is that, maybe the details got a little skewed, but they're fun, Well, not all of them are fun. Not all stories are fun, and not all stories have happy endings. But stories are stories. Anyway, I digress. I think that's a fun one. I mean, driving the Nova into the house kind of sucks, but I think that it's funny, like wanting to kill chickens and have dinner at like whatever time. Like, hell yeah, go for it, buddy.
So on the same the same set of great grandparents of mine. So where they live, like my great grandparents lived here, my aunt and uncle lived here, and my grandparents lived here. I could run between all three houses in less than 3 minutes. That's how close we were.
Oh
So
wow.
run from one house, drop something off at the next house, run to the next one, then still get back home. So my great grandfather, if you can't tell from this already, was the card of the family, which I think is why maybe I act the way I am. But so he liked to throw firecrackers at people. He'd keep them in his pocket, light one, wait till you weren't paying attention, drop it behind you, and he'd run away just to watch you react. Like it's so funny because I've seen it because when I was young enough, he was still kind of, active before he got sick and shit. So he would do that. Like he'd nudge me, light it, throw it, then be like, and we'd get up and run over around the corner together, and then hop in, and he'd start with that hard ass chest,
the belly laugh. Oh,
and you could tell he loved those moments. But my grandfather used to scare the shit out of me because he told me this story this one time that my mom, when she was younger, used to bring food over to my great grandparents way before I was born. So she was like a little kid. And my great grandfather, every night when she'd go to run back to my grandparents' back door looked at their parents' back front door, so you could make the straight line. It was real quick to get there.
Okay.
He would open the door going, roll over here, there's a bear! Roll over here, there's a bear! And my mom would go hauling ass down the field, everything like that. And to me, to this day, even my mom still brings that one up to me. And I'm like, that is one of the best stories ever. She goes, and I fell for it every time. I knew there wasn't a fucking bear.
That's so funny.
I'm like, then why did you run?
Aw. Chantel says the difference between kinky and perverted. Kinky is when you use a feather. Perverted is when you use the chicken. Now my question is Chantel the feather or the chicken kind of gal? I bet she's a chicken kind of girl.
Don't cry, Jesus.
Yeah, don't cry, Jesus. We love you, buddy.
I'm a monster. I made Jesus cry. Now I am going.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, I love Oji-san. That's great. My family, like my grandparents, were more like subdued. I guess, like I only like on my dad's side, especially. They were always more kind of like. I mean, I only knew my grandma, on my dad's side until she passed in 84 or 85, I think. So I remember a little bit about her. But I remember my grandfather, who on my dad's side, who was he was very like, what's the word for it? Like straight laced, like it's tough to describe. But they weren't like jokesters or pranksters. They didn't really do stuff like that. And like my mom's side, they were, they were more fun. That sounds terrible to say.
No, I understand that though.
But they were the ones that I always looked forward to seeing my grandparents for different reasons, but I always loved seeing my grandma and my grandpa on my mom's side. It was just always such a good time. They're like, it was like different. They didn't have crazy stories like that. So like my grandfather, he played college football, I think, or high school or college football under coaching of Vince Lombardi, which is kind of neat. And then wow. Well, I'm at full tumescence now.
Well, to really touch base on that real quick. So when you do kill a chicken and you cut off their head, they still run on around for about 45 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
And all the blood is still, and then they go dead chicken.
And then they're like, brah.
No, they can't go brah. They got no head to go brah.
Well, they might be able to. In my head, they do.
Like the head just goes brah while they're like laying on the ground.
My grandpa.
Oh, that sucks.
My dad's side was mean as hell. That does suck. I'm sorry, but I never really knew my grandparents except for my grandma. Sugar Jane from my mom's side, best lady that ever lived. Isn't that the way though? I'm sorry about that, Oji-san. That's too bad. But I'm glad you had a grandparent that you definitely connected with and had a very good memory of. That's really cool.
I say that really hurts my heart because I was very close to my grandparents. So I'm like, oh, that sucks for him. That's rough, dude.
Well, my dad's side of the family wrote me off like a long time ago when I was like in my teens. And my mom's family was always cool. Like even during my shittiest times and like my lost years and stuff like that, they were always cool.
I have not read that.
The chicken that lived. Yes, yeah. We did a show on that, and freaking oh my god, yeah. There's like a statue or something like that of him.
How long did it live? I'm assuming it was a longer time than if it got a statue.
It was ridiculous. We did this. What the hell show was it? We did this on. This is gonna drive me nuts. I know. I think it was on Tom and Amy's.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. I kind of want to know more, but
chicken.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was like a superstar. He was like, I believe he was like sold to a sideshow or something like that in his later years or something like that. Yeah, I can't. Oh, geez, now I'm gonna have to look this up.
Oh,
I bet you do great.
I bet
you do great, man. Absolutely. All right, now I'm gonna look this up.
So I feel like every story that we share connects you to the next person, so forth and so on. So I think that's why so many people like to, when they make a friend, to like express themselves and tell them stuff about their life that their friend wouldn't know. So I feel like that's a way we stay connected to our actual like fundamentals of being an actual human. We like to hear and share our life experiences with somebody else.
Yeah, I agree. Or some, I just like the sound of my voice sometimes. So sometimes I just tell stories to hear myself talk. His name was Mike the Headless Chicken.
Sleepy. Headless Show.
Yeah, Mike the Headless Chicken. Yeah, April 20th, 45 to March 17th, 1947.
Holy shit!
Yep, lived for 18 months without a head. Yeah, it died because he got choked. Yeah. I see what you did there, but isn't that how it died though? Like some got stuck in its feet, or I forget. I'm about to reread that story, but I got a choking chicken joke. That's fair. I have a lot of stories I can tell. Actually, she's about most people that are in the comments. Like people. Jimmy, I've known you, I've known you a long time. Geez, I've known you like at least a year or so now. We've had some fun. Chantel, I can tell stories about you, but we're gonna keep those sassy time secrets. JJ, we've been through a lot together. It's really funny. That, which is again why I love seeing like the same people in the show every week. Mm-hmm. These are people that like I care about. You know what I mean? And I love seeing new people too. But like some of our stories can be shared with them, and I have stories, about them, and that times with my hot stuff videos. Oji-san remembers that fun. So it's really cool to I think it is that connection, and stories are the way to do it, is to connect people.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Nintendo's fun.
Nintendo is always fun. When I was taking the dog for a walk, I was thinking about it, that we normally have between 3 to 8 viewers at the most when we're live. But in the chat, it's always the same group of people. And in my head, because if you can't tell, I'm a huge nerd, that I'm like, dude, I'm like a cult. I'm like a cult classic. I got like a small little group of fans follow. I'm like, that makes me feel so happy because I love cult films. So I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yes, it is. Yes, you did. That's where we met Oji-san. I think it had to have been Katie's channel. Because then I met, because there's that whole group, with Neil and Phil. Yeah, you're in a few months now. Yeah, because I met Jesus right before he was going to get married to his wonderful wife Trinity. Shout out to Trinity, she's awesome. Much better to be Evil Dead than Scream. That's fair. Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. That's very well put. I like that.
I mean, you get the boomstick. And you get a chainsaw hand. I'm down.
You want the chainsaw hand? Okay. We can fix that, buddy.
I don't want to lob off my hand to do it, but if I can, get it with fingers, that I'm okay with that.
Sure. Well, we'll figure it out for you, buddy. Halloween is coming up.
So I have a really funny story about me and Danny when we were younger.
Okay.
So when we were younger, we lived with my mom and her girlfriend and her two kids. So she had a son and she had a girl. And one day we got Danny to go and drag, if I could find the pictures. He has a bandana tied around his head, a little like crop top here, and like skirt and heels, and he's working it. And if you've heard him or seen my brother, you know he's like me. Our sense of humor is like, oh, you want to do this? We're gonna do
Let's go. Yep.
doing the head shakes and everything. Oh my god, it's one of the funniest stories. So we got up that morning and we were trying to find a way to like fuck with him because I'm that older brother who was an asshole. So I like to fuck with him a lot when he was younger.
Sure.
I was like, let's get him to wear her clothes. I doubt he'll do it. I should have known that he was growing up under my tree and he was going to turn out like me in some ways. And that was a complete me move. I'm like, yeah, I would have done that just to fuck with everybody too. So I was very proud of him. I was like, all right, that's cool.
Hell yeah.
But now he hates that story, or if he finds it, he goes, why the fuck do you have those?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, if you can find that, you gotta get that. I feel another hashtag yes to the dress coming on. Oju-san, I am an Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2 was the first one I saw because at the time Evil Dead 1 was out of print, and you couldn't really find it anywhere. But I loved Evil Dead 2, and then when I saw Evil Dead 1, I liked Evil Dead 1 even more. So 1 and 2, Army of Darkness is like a third. It's fine. It's a fun movie.
So I saw 2 first, then the first one, and then Army of Darkness. And I have to say, I was one of those poor kids who had friends who had older brothers who like they were like you who knew stuff before we did. So when we'd spend the night at someone's house, they'd be like, I gotta show you this movie. I'm like 9 years old watching The Evil Dead. I'm like mesmerized and terrified all at the same time. And then me and another friend ended up watching the first one together afterwards. And then I ended up watching The Army of Dead a few weeks after that. Like afterwards, I'm like, these are great movies. Why didn't anyone tell me about these sooner?
Yep. That's kind of how I was growing up with the boys. They were inundated with violent movies. Yeah, I got a couple over there. I got a couple of the other ones too. I'll show you in a second.
I agree with that.
But yeah, I loved those movies, man. Evil Dead. Hold on, I'm gonna grab. You keep talking, JJ. I'm gonna grab something to show Oju-san.
You're good. So the thing that I love them, and I know we're now on movies, but I guess that's technically still in the realm of stories because it was a story somebody wrote. They just turned it into like a film. So I'm gonna run with it. So fuck it. So I actually love the first one the most after I've watched all 3 like out of order and in sync. But the first movie, for some reason, has that warm place in my heart, like that, The Exorcist, those kind of movies, like because I saw them when I was young, so they impacted me differently then. But now when I watch them, I only have fond memories of like me and my friends or me gonna sneak downstairs to watch it. Like it's weird. I don't know if anyone else has that, but that's what I do. You have little ones too?
Check this out. Hold on.
I didn't see those when I was over there. No way.
It's a DVD case, and it's got like the.
That is so. How did I not notice those when I was there the other day?
I forgot to show you.
Those are so cool.
So that's from Evil Dead 1. This is the Evil Dead 2 one. They have one for Army of Darkness, but I don't have it.
That's my least favorite of all the movies.
And I'm gonna, it's fine.
Not a fan.
I wish they had done the original, but that's so many vape mods. Oh God, yeah. I'm sorry, real quick, Oju-san, I would go with The Thing because The Thing could probably replicate the book. That's a good question. I'd watch that movie regardless. If it was like The Blob versus The Thing, I'd be like, shut up and take my money.
Huh. That is actually a really good question because both those movies are great.
Yeah, it's that. Then that's the Evil Dead 2 one. So yeah, I got 2 of them. I was lucky to grab these. That's why I keep them in the Bible bag.
Can't tell.
Oh man, I'll bet Chantel was. I wouldn't mess with her.
So if we're going to talk about broken fingers. So I was 10 years old. That's why some of these hands aren't so straight anymore. I'm watching my grandfather outside. He's trying to build a deck, right? And not just a deck, but like a whole covered in back porch and everything. And I noticed when he misses and hits himself in the thumb, he can say the F word. I'm not allowed to say the F word yet. And I'm like,
no.
so I take the hammer and I go, oh, right across the knuckle a lot harder than I meant to. So I
no.
2 knuckles at the exact same time. And I'm standing there going, fuck, 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 like so happy to get to say fuck, but also crying because
it's so much pain. Oh my God.
My comes over and he's looking at me. He's like, what did you do?
I just wanted to say the F-bomb.
I told him that, like, I just wanted to say fuck. I wanted to be cool like everyone else. And he looks at my hand and you can see it's janky. He takes my fingers and goes, it pops them back into place. That's why I got bigger, they started to curve this way.
Oh, so that's crazy.
Great, because he just popped them in and then wrapped it with duct tape for me.
That's how you fix things back in the day. See, we need to go back to that, America.
I think that's why when I tore up my knee last summer, that's what I did. I just put tape on it every morning. I put some cotton balls in it, taped it up with duct tape, and went to work. Like, it'll heal.
Groovy Scroll. Oh, yeah. Travis, big Evil Dead fan. That's cool. Yeah, I got a few things. I also saw, Tui and I went, and a buddy went to go see him at the Finger Lakes Drive-In a few years back, and I got a signed Bruce Campbell thing. Which I
remember cool. When you went to go see that, you were so excited.
I was.
Oh, I would have been.
It was a good time, except for the whole fire alarm in the hotel the next day. That sucks. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've seen him do that. Yeah. Well, I've seen the aftermath of that. I've seen him when he shows up. I'm like, what'd you do? He's like, I punched a wall. Oh, Jeebs.
So, you know what I find very interesting, not just about like our personal stories, but like stories in general, going through like books, comics, everything, that the more heart that story has, the more invested you get into it. Like the more you hear someone's like truth and like passion and feelings,
sure,
you will start to feel like those are your thoughts and you just get real deep into it. So like, when I think about those kind of stories, I think about my kids. Like when either they told me we were gonna have one, or they were born, and the first time holding all 3 of my kids is a memory that I hope never loses its spot in my brain, because it's like one of my favorite memories. Because like it's a feeling you can't put into words, but it is like the most amazing and accomplishable thing I've done with my life. Like if I die tomorrow, I lay claim. Like I've got something here that I could look past and go, nope, the world is good. They're like me. No worries.
You too. Oh my God, we have an influx of people. What's up, Groovy? Good to see you, brother. Just talking about you, literally. Danny, what's up? Hatch, good to see you, buddy. That's awesome. Yeah, we were talking about Bruce. Yeah. Because I was showing off. Well, yeah, I have the Evil Dead 1 and 2. Movie. Yeah, I have Bubba Hotep back there in the collection.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, we were just. I showed the. What's up, Ash? All right, here we go. Everybody just popped in around the same time. That's what's up.
Welcome. Because I didn't want to sit through the first 40 minutes. They wanted to do it through the last.
Basically, yeah, they just wanted to. That makes sense. Yeah, they're like, we don't need a full hour of these guys.
Like,
we only need 20 minutes. Yeah.
But I mean, it is in the description, random nonsense. It's in the description.
But shout out to everybody in the chat. We freaking love seeing you guys here. You guys are awesome.
Now, what the hell were we just talking about?
Well, we're hearing. Actually, speaking, if it's on stories, Groovy, do you have any good stories of you with chilling with Mr. Campbell, old butt chin Bruce? I would like to hear one of those. I have 31 years of JJ. That's enough, believe me. You know, I heard an interesting story about you, Hatch. I think you know which one I'm talking about. Oh, he might not, actually.
Yeah, he might not.
Black Friday. Yep, I have Black Friday. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Watching RuPaul's Drag Race. That's hell yeah.
It's a good show.
Shout out to Ashley. She makes great food.
She does. She makes
an absolute sweetheart. Yeah. That's awesome. Had a meal with him and drank and smoked cigars with him. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty
That's
cool.
pretty awesome.
So you remember when I was at your house the other day and I told you I had a friend who knew the guy from
Angus Scrim. Yeah.
So he didn't just know him. Like, I guess he was like a really big, like, not photographer, but videographer back in the day. So he starts going through like his whole movies. He's got stuff with James T. Kirk at his like private horse ranch. And Kirk's an asshole. I
mean, Shatner, right?
Yeah, Shatner.
Yeah. He's Danny. What's up, buddy? Hell yeah. Other Danny. My Danny.
Got multiple Dannys now.
Yeah, we got multiple Dannys. That's really cool. Yeah, this is one of my prized ones, Groovy. I know you guys just saw it, but I saw my brother, a friend, and I went to go see him a couple years back at the Finger Lakes Drive-In. It was the first time I ever saw the Evil Dead ones on the big screen, so I got that signed, which is pretty fucking cool. Oh, you are everywhere, Mr. Walsh. It was amazing. I sat in the car the whole time. There was a lot of people. A lot of people.
I was actually going to end it with that. Like, after I know what kind of, like, human being he is, he's a piece of shit, but I love me some James T. Kirk. I do love me some Kirk. I won't lie.
That's fair. I'm not a Star Wars guy. I know what I did. I know exactly what I did. I don't like Star Wars.
I'm pretty sure you knew what you did, but for a split second,
yeah.
I was ready. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Has anybody, the old school dudes, anybody heard from Tuna? Is Tuna still swimming around? Does anybody know? I miss Tuna.
Who is Tuna?
Call me out on what? Oh, that, yeah. Kick me while I'm down. Yeah, that's fair. Thanks to remind me. I was doing this show to forget that I was down. Fun,
Tilly. You ruined everything.
I was trying to forget that I was down with the show. Thanks to I forgot about that. I'll go back to being bumming once you get home. Don't worry. That's cool to know. That's really cool to know.
Really cool, actually. He's on my list of somebody I would love to meet, even if it's just for like a brief second. Be like, you're Bruce Campbell. You know, that moment you get just to be like, oh, I know you.
I'd be like, I just shake his hand and be like, hey man, like you a big fan.
Yep. Be like, all right, bye now.
I even loved was he an Intruder? I forget if he was an Intruder. I think he was an Intruder.
I don't know if I've seen that movie.
It's an old one. It's kind of an obscure one. I didn't even see it till a few years ago. It's got like Ted Raimi in it. It's about like a supermarket overnight with an awesome like face to the deli slicer scene in it. That's pretty rocking.
Okay, fair enough.
Hail the King, baby. Yeah.
Well, shit.
I wish I had a better story. I don't have any. I don't really have. Well, I have lots of stories. I don't know if I want to tell any of them. No, I'm trying to think of like a good one.
I mean, it is live, so I don't blame you. I mean, I probably have a lot more I could tell, but there's some where it's like, no, I don't want to talk about that one. No, I don't want to talk about that one. So I get it. I'm going through my list in my brain trying to find ones that are funny without being offensive or fucked up.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, I got one for
you, man. Sure.
So this is a story I've heard from my grandfather and both of my uncles. So one night, my Uncle Chris and my Uncle Terry both shared a room together, and my grandfather's out in the living room, which, like, here's their bedroom, here's the living room, like it was straight shut. So he's out there trying to watch whatever he was watching. I don't remember what he was watching, but he's watching something. One of my other uncles comes out of the bedroom, furious, because my other uncle farted so bad it smelled like rotten eggs, that it like had a musk to the whole room. And my grandfather, being my grandfather, doesn't believe it. He starts laughing. He goes, it can't be that bad. Takes a box of matches into the room, lights one of the fucking matches. The entire room goes up in a green ball of fire.
That's crazy. I have one like, you know what? I'm going to share one when you're done. I'm going to share one.
And I was going to say, like, that was the point I realized in my life that my family was fucking weird, because that's what was handed down to me. I'm like, that is the weirdest fucking story anyone can tell somebody, but I love it.
Big green fire fart flame. That's interesting. I like the alliteration on that too. I have one like that too. He knows what I'm going to tell. So I had the previous night. It was like fried eggs on chicken patties or some shit like that. It was one of those drunk combinations, right? Oh. So I was lighting it up in my sleep, right? So Tui comes in to ask me something in the morning, and the smell. He like went back out. He was like, he told me later, he was like, I didn't know if you could have been dead. I didn't want to go in and check. It smelled that bad. I'm like, damn. I was like, all right. So another one. So that's an embarrassing for me. But this one is kind of nice. So I remember back when me and my buddy Nick, after 8th grade, he moved to South Carolina and I moved to Louisiana. But my mom and my brother still lived in Vermont, and he had families that still lived around the same part in Vermont, the same town and stuff. So we would kind of plan when we would go back to visit, because I'd go back to visit my mom and my brothers at the house, and he would go visit grandma, but he would come spend a couple days with us over at our place. And we would sneak out at night. We had these two girls, Robin and Sarah, that we would go to. There was this little pool that we would go to, and that's true. So we would go to this pool, and like we'd go skinny dipping at night. It was great because it was this little small town in Vermont, and like all you had was like the moon and the starlight and like, you know, whatever ambient light you had, and it was in the summer. So, you know, you didn't live there anymore. And like whenever we went back, we were kind of like rock stars because we had gotten out of the town, and people, you know, we were well known, and, you know, we were best friends, and we were, you know, go do this stuff together. So we go late night skinny dipping with these girls and stuff like that. And I remember it just being such an awesome time, and just being absolutely, you know, there was the thrill of like being out and sneaking out and going skinny dipping and just like all this other stuff when you're a teenager, and just, you know, of course hormones are going crazy and stuff like that. And it was always sad to see those times come to an end. And unfortunately, I'm the only person that's still alive out of all of those people. I'm the only one that is left alive out of those stories, which kind of sucks.
That is very sad.
It is sad. That's what I was like. It's a kind of one of those like.
But it's sad.
It was a great time, but like now it kind of sucks. Sarah, I believe, died of an overdose. Robin died in a car crash, and Nick was sick for a long time. Nobody knew, and he passed a couple of years back. Which is another story. I found that out on my way to vacation, like literally on the road to go visit my brother in South Carolina a couple of years ago. I found out on the way. So that was tough. Yeah, I had a lot of memories specifically with those people, and a lot of the sneaking out stories and a lot of things. But it kind of sucks to think back that I'm the only person that's still alive. Yeah, that's why I was like, but it's one of those like, there's a yin to the yang, you know what I mean? It's all about balance. Like, it was super great. It was a beautiful time. It was magical in my head. Like, those days were magical. That's the only way I can put it. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't have a lot of happy memories from about that time, but I have some. You know what I mean? But then, you know, it sucks. But it is what it is. It's life. At least I'm still alive to tell the stories, and it still means something to me when I tell them.
Well, and here's the thing about it. Like, that was kind of the premise of the show, that stories, after being told so much, become legends, so forth and so on. So you just told that story to the internet. That means that story will last forever now. Like, anyone who comes across this show from here on out will know about you and your friends, which will carry their memories on till when we're not doing the show anymore. Like, that's awesome. I think that's the best thing you could have done.
Maybe I'll be like, hey, remember when that fat bearded guy farted and his brother threw up? I'm like, that's the one you remember. Okay, cool, whatever.
You got to ruin the moment. I was giving you props.
I know. Well, there's no such thing as bad publicity. You know what I mean? Famous, infamous. What do you know? Yeah, I appreciate that though. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's the one. That's also a crazy innovation about the internet. Is like people's stories are just there.
Yeah,
they're there. They're out there. You know, just like you said, there's like anybody that ever comes across this, all three of them someday might you know be like, hey, that's a story.
Yep. Which is crazy to think, because I mean, in the weird realm of the world, out of all the things that somebody could know, somebody might watch the show and keep that in their mind because it reminds them of them and their friends, what they used to have. And then be like, hey, I watched this one podcast this one time, and this dude told this story, and it just keeps going. So see?
That's fair. We got an Ash one. She said pregnancy can sometimes give you irrational ass fears. When I was pregnant for my son, I literally clenched and refused to allow the birth because I was afraid of pooping myself. I was told by many women that it was common during birth, and oh my goodness, new fear unlocked. Remembering sobbing like a toddler, saying, "No, I don't want to poop on my baby. He doesn't deserve that." I begged and pleaded with everyone and anyone who would hear me out. That is amazing show code right there. That is amazing show code right there. That good on you. See, okay, all right. So now, all right. I'm trying to think. Now I got to like up an embarrassing one.
I got one for you.
Okay.
So we were 11th grade. We were playing strip poker at my house. And for some reason, my mom was there. I don't know why. We were kids. I don't think it was actually strip poker. But that's not the point of the story. Anyways, so we're playing. I mean, I guess it kind of is. That's my weird life. So we're playing strip poker. And like, I lose. And I'm with, at the time, my best friend and brother, who's also having a disagreement with me because a girl that I used to be in love with is sitting across from him, and now he's in love with her now that he knows who she is. So we're already not like okay with one another. And I go, because she's like, all right, take off your sweatpants. I'm like, okay, cool. Go to take off my sweatpants, trying to be cool. I pulled way too hard and way too much.
No, you got the second layer to go down too, didn't you?
Yep.
Oh, no.
So my friend and this girl that I had a huge crush on all saw the goods.
Oh, no. Well, so did she?
I've never cried so hard in my life. I ran to my room sobbing like a little girl. And I'm not afraid to admit that because I was like 16. I was an idiot. I didn't know shit. I was so sad at myself. I was sad and cried.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. That stinks.
But it's embarrassing, and I don't mind. So see?
When I was younger, I did a lot of music. His page creator makes the show private so Hef Story can't become a legend. Damn. Jeez. What the hell? Okay.
That's fucked up if I did that.
That's kind of okay. Thanks, Chantel. Jeez, holy moly. So I was in band back in the day, and I was a huge Nine Inch Nails fan. And there's like a hidden track on the Orange album. I can't remember what the name of the album was. It was like Broken or whatever. It had like Hurt on it, or not Hurt. It was anyway. It was the one with the orange cover. And there was a hidden song on it that was a cover of an Adam Ant song called Physical. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. I was like, because it was a hidden song. Nobody knew about it. I didn't even know it was a cover until years down the road. So I like told everybody that I wrote it. And like went around, we pimped it. Yeah, that's it. With the N on the cover.
Like that?
Yeah, I can't really see it too good.
I know. But it has the NIN on the top, and then it's orange.
No, I think it was a different one. It was one of the earliest ones, but at any rate,
that is one of the earlier ones.
Okay, then it might be, and I can't
down
see
the spiral.
No, it's before that one. It's before. I think it's called Broken. But so anyway, I told everybody I wrote this song. We play it live. Everybody thought I wrote it. I told it to my brothers. I told it to everybody and their fucking mother. And we were at a show, and I got called out. They're like, "Yeah, you didn't write that." And I was like, "Oh, damn." So eventually I got back to my brothers. To this day, they do not and will not let me live that one down. Which I can't blame them. That is one of the stupidest fucking things I like. Well, maybe not I've ever done, but that was definitely one of those like, dude, what'd you do that for?
I feel like we've all done something like that to like add like some grandeur to our life, add like that mysticalness of our stories. It's
yeah,
like,
or I just lied.
I did this one time. So it makes sense. I get that.
But yeah, so that's one of my ones. And that every not every day, but holy crap, they bust my balls about that still. But good on them. Yeah.
Excuse me. I actually think it was a funny story. I liked it.
Thank you.
Now I know something about you that you try to say you write Nine Inch Nails songs. So now I don't know what to believe. I'm
That's fair.
lost now. I just don't
fair. That's fair.
I will never believe anything you tell me.
That's fair. I'm sorry. It was. You're right. It was 30 years ago. 31 years ago. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be like everyone else in the world and hold all your life before I met you against you. You're a monster.
That's fair. I am a monster. That's fair. That's fair.
You're a very huggable.
You can call me Fluffy.
You are very fluffy.
Thank you.
I will agree with that.
That is Bruce showing my back during an interview.
Huh?
I'm confused on that one.
I am too a little bit. Did he try to send like a?
Maybe. I think Chantel gets it.
All right, so I've got one more random story for you. So this one's kind of sad and stupid all at the same time.
Well, like sad and stupid.
So this takes place right after I moved out here. And if you've watched earlier episodes of the show, you know that when I moved back to New York, I had a pill problem. So I wanted to check myself in to get help because I thought, it would help. I spent 8+ hours at the fucking ER waiting just to talk to somebody. At this point, I'm getting frustrated. I just want to go home. I want to go to bed. My dumbass leaves my phone in my mom's car.
Oh, no.
I don't know my mom's phone number at all. Like, you could ask me right now. I do not know what her number is. It's in my phone. I hit mom and I call my mother. No idea what her phone number is. And I realized I just moved here and I grew up in upstate New York, which is like Peru.
Yeah. Yeah, that's far up there. Yeah.
So I don't know my bearings for shit. And I decide, okay, I remember my mom went straight, then took a left, this and that. I'll just walk home. It can't be that far. It didn't take us that long to get here. So I ended up leaving the hospital at 1 a.m. I didn't get a ride home till 8 o'clock that night. I ended up wandering around downtown Albany for hours because I did not know. And when I would tell people, this is where I live, what direction do I need to go to get there? Nobody knew what I was talking about. And it sucks when you talk like me, especially when I'm nervous in front of strangers. My stutter is at an 11.
The stammer.
I can't tell them what I need without going like freezing up and trying to get the words out, which I think made it worse to find my way home. I finally ran into a cop who looked up my mom's phone number in his computer to call my mother and to tell her to come get me. Like, that's how I ended up back home after like 12 hours of wandering around town.
Jesus.
That sucked.
Okay, so hold on. We have a lot to process here real quick. So,
yep,
Groovy couldn't post the link because for whatever reason he can't post links on here. I guess that's probably good so you can't get scammed or anything. Oh yeah, sorry, Pam's was right before that. My aunt cut my hair and I hid by the refrigerator to jump out, surprise my cousin, and it was his friend instead. Oh boy. Okay.
All right, Ashley's got this.
All right, so in high school, I met a girl who was literally identical to me. Everyone thought we were twins and would get us mixed up all the time. We loved it and went along with it and came up with this elaborate story about how we were twins separated at birth, blah, blah, blah. This became common knowledge at my school. Fast forward 2 years, and my parents get called to the school because I was caught self-harming. And guess what? The counselor mentioned maybe it's because I felt rejected by my biological dad. Says, I think there's a continuation down here. I was so dumbfounded and embarrassed it did not go well. I'll believe that. And then going back to Oju-san's Tech TV at Groovy Lava, Squirrel Medic, Search Attack of the Show, 5:30. So that's May 30th, 2012 at 21:45. I don't have to go back to that one. Look at that.
I was trying to keep up. My bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And yeah, that's just the follow to this. And then if that chick got a picture of JJ dropping his pants, maybe his nickname would have been Fuzzy Plums. Then we would have a fluffy and a fuzzy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh shit! I did not expect that. Props to that one. I did not expect that.
Wow. Fuzzy Plums.
This is why I love doing this show. The things we talk about. And I have to admit, I'm very I know every now and again I do still get stuck, but that's just how my brain works. But on this show, I'm very like open about me, and I share a lot more than I probably should. But weirdly enough, I kind of enjoy it. It's like the one time I could be like, guess what I did? That was stupid.
It's like therapy. Everybody's got those moments, dude. Everybody's done something dumb. Everybody's got some stupid story that they don't tell, they won't tell. You know what I mean? So
I want to put Gran on my butt.
what color?
Mahogany.
What? Did you say mauve?
Mahogany.
Mahogany? I learned something today. That's fair.
It's a good color.
Was it one of like the thick crayons, or was it like the regulation Crayola ones?
Regulation, sir.
Oh man! All right, all right.
Sometimes I forget this place where I work, so like everybody knows a lie that I just told that's not real, but it's a funny lie. So
I like it.
Or is it a lie?
I don't know. That's the best part about it. It's you wrote physical too, didn't you? Well, damn. When I was at my school, my bestie and I were too busy pretending to be Sheena and Shira. And by now, everyone knows I'm mostly wildly inappropriate. Yeah, that's what we love about you.
Yeah.
Duh.
I was going to say, do you not watch the show? I just made a cran up the butt joke.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I'll go on it. I met my wife drunk on Halloween in a loincloth. Still married 31 years later. No loincloth required.
Good job on you, son.
What's up, Anthony? Oh, that's too bad he pops in right at the end.
I know.
But thanks for showing up, bro. It's nice to see you.
Appreciate it, brother.
There we go. See, he must have caught the crayon story, but like, I gotta bust his balls.
So I was gonna do a game, but being it's just us, I thought we'd just run the clock out, and we ran the clock out. Wow, that show went by very slow but fast at the same time, if that makes sense.
It did. No, that's okay, Anthony. You're at work. I understand, buddy.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
We'd like to thank you all again for being here. Every Thursday we do this. If you enjoy what we're doing, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff down below. Like Hefty's channel in the links in the comments below, along with Tom and Amy, Carrie, my Instagram. All the fun things are all the way down there. You should do it because we're all kind of fun outside of what we do here. So you should check it out. Other than that, we will be back Friday on Tom and Amy's show. I don't know what we're doing. And then next week, we have a twofer. We'll do this again on Thursday. And then on Friday, I'm hosting the Paranormal Game for a random nonsense episode. So I don't know what they're coming into. We'll see.
We'll see. And shout out to everybody in the chat, too. We love you guys. Thank you guys for being diligent, showing up all the time.
Keep doing it.
You guys are awesome, man. We really appreciate all of you.
On that note, be nice to someone because you don't know what's going on in their life, and your little bit of kindness might just turn their whole day around. So just be nice to somebody today.